Yo, what's good YouTube? This is Jay from T&J, and I just been thinking about like some of the past moves that I've made. One of the guys I probably regret trading at this point, I probably only had one regret, and it's trading Domingo Santana. Why do I regret trading him? Because when I traded him, he was 24 years old. He's doing pretty well for the Brewers this year. I think he's hitting 290. And I just like the way he plays the game. I mean, he doesn't do anything bad. He doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, he has good speed in real life. I mean, he's 47 on this game, but he has good speed. He has a good arm in the outfield. He hits for power, hits for average. He gets on base. He's a good base runner. I mean, he's just that kind of all-around guy that every team wants on their team. And he doesn't strike out too much. I mean, he has pretty decent stats. I mean, if you look at his attributes, I mean, he has pretty good power. I mean, consistent power, discipline. He has actually the player quirk to get walks, excels at drawing walks. But look at his injury at the bottom, his injury status. He's out for 6+ months with a dislocated ankle. I was actually thinking about retrading for him just to get him back, because, you know, when you miss somebody, you miss somebody, and he's 26. I mean, he's still young. So maybe in the offseason, this is a guy that we can just bring back, have a reunion back in Milwaukee, because right now he's hurt. But I definitely could use a reliable bat. I mean, it seems as though Brinson's getting better. Soler, it's hard to tell. He had a pretty good game coming back. Franklin Gutierrez, if we look at Franklin Gutierrez, actually, he's kind of gotten worse as the season's gone on. He's still hitting pretty good, but if you look at him, he's only hitting 285 at this point, which is good. I'm not saying that's bad, but he regressed a little bit because he was hitting in the 320s early in the season. Then he's kind of just like slowly regressed. Now he's down to 285. I mean, I'm not worried about it or anything, but it seems like a lot of our guys are regressing. Lewis Brinson's one of the guys who's actually getting better. He actually started the season at 220. I think he's getting better. Jorge Mateo is a guy that's interesting. So 206 he's hitting. He's only 23. So I could have potentially moved him down to AAA, get him some work, and possibly put somebody else there. Maybe Hernan Perez can fill in. You never know. Hernan Perez is such a good utility player, but he could possibly take over that full-time second base if he performs. You know, he's got to perform. That's the thing, man. You got to perform to get a starting spot. Travis Shaw's hitting 286. He's hitting really well. I'm actually not hitting good with him the last few games, but that's all right because I know he's gonna pick it up when it matters most. Eric Thames hitting 282. He's hitting pretty good as well. This is actually going to be his career high if he keeps on this track. So one guy I'm actually worried about a little bit is Arcia, because he's only hitting 210, but the leadoff spot is giving him a little life, but still he's not even hitting that well. I really have to change his batting stance, because the batting stance they have on him for this game isn't like his real life stance. He's more of has an open stance. So I'm going to change it before this game. But we're going up against the Nationals. Let's just get into this gameplay. We're actually going against Max Scherzer. This is the first time I've ever faced Scherzer, so I'm actually excited to face him. And I believe, I'm not sure who he's going up against, but Max Scherzer I'm excited for. Remember, the Nationals signed Jake Arrieta in the offseason last season, so they have Scherzer and then Arrieta back to back. I mean, that is amazing. Still have Strasburg. I mean, they are stacked to win in the playoffs with that pitching staff. But let's just get into this gameplay, man. Let's go. So it's not all like every season we get to face the Nationals at Miller Park. Bryce Harper's actually sitting out this game, but we have Lance McCullers on the mound. 105 whip. I love that stat. He is dominating on the mound. Only 4-3 though. So here in the beginning of the game, look at this. On that pitch, Lance McCullers actually gets hurt. So we are forced to bring in Junior Guerra out of the bullpen. That was the first or second batter of the game. He walks a guy, and all of a sudden he has to get taken out. So that's actually exactly what happened to Junior Guerra this year in real life. He had a pitch. I remember watching the season opener. He had a pitch early in the game, and then he must have pulled his groin, I believe, and ended up taking him out for like, what was it, 2-3 weeks or something like that. And it's exactly what happened to Lance McCullers just now. But here Max Scherzer is on the mound for the Nationals, and I've never faced Scherzer in this game, so I anticipate this being a hell of a matchup. And in the early parts of the game, Scherzer was actually throwing some pretty hittable pitches. Here's the thing, I mean, the theme with this season has been timely hitting. We get guys on base, like here we're getting Lewis Brinson with a hit to the right side, basically to start off an inning, but then we get another one, Jet Bandy. But here's the thing, we can never bring these guys in. We got a guy on first and second, no outs. Remember, there's no outs here, so Jose Bautista is coming off the bench because I just want some run production, to be honest. So I actually pulled Junior Guerra at this point, and Orlando Arcia strikes out. So look at that, we had the guy on first and second with no outs, and we can't bring him in. But Franklin Gutierrez starts out the next inning with a hit up the middle, and Eric Thames comes up next, gets a hit to the right side, and that is going to barely drop in there. So now we got guys on first and second, but pay attention to that play. Franklin Gutierrez actually gets hurt sliding into second, so another injury for us in this game. What is going on? I mean, we cannot keep guys healthy. I don't know if it's our trainer or what. I'm actually going to check that out after this game. But Jorge Soler comes up next. Keon Broxton subs in for Franklin Gutierrez in right field. So we actually moved the guy to third base on that one. So now we got guys on the corner, but we cannot do anything that inning. So here in the next inning, if you pay attention to that play, so I'm running right with Arcia, and it changes guys to my center fielder. So in mid running right, the ball skips right past Brinson because I'm still running to the right. So I maneuver to the right and I miss the ball. So here I have Lance Lynn in the game. So he's in a bases loaded jam, and we get a grounder up the middle. Austin Meadows in a double play, and he's safe at first base. If you look at this, look at where the ball is in my glove and where his foot is. I got robbed on that one. I think he was out. I could have been out of the inning there, but instead we give up the run. And the next inning, the Nationals are about to get hot. They start off with a hit over the second baseman there. Now they get a hit down the line, so back-to-back doubles for them. But Jose Bautista, I mean, that's not even Jose Bautista. My left fielder is going to come up, throw in the second, Jorge Soler, and they're going to just keep this hit parade going. Taylor Youngman is now on the mound, and they're getting a hit up the middle. Bases loaded. I mean, it seems like they're getting guys on base in a timely fashion, and Jorge Mateo misses another grounder, and that possibly was going to be a double play because the guy running to first had 27 speed there, and they're going to bring up Trey Turner off the bench. He's going to strike out, so at least Youngman gets that first guy out. But another hit to the right side, and look at Keon Broxton. He lets a ball go right through his legs, and man, they are going to bring in another run. 6-0 here. Franklin Gutierrez was missed there in right field. But Jet Bandy is going to come up in the ninth inning. He's going to ground out, and the Brewers are going to go on to lose this game 6-0. But some news comes up next. So immediately following the game, I advance the next day because I'm not playing every game. I sim the next game, and look what happens. Jorge Mateo ends up tearing his calf out 1 to 2 months. So, man, what is up with these injuries? I mean, I just had 2 injuries in that game, and then now Jorge Mateo the next game gets hurt. I mean, what is up with this? I mean, Soler got hurt for a good 2 months when the season started. Man, who else is going to get hurt? This is important that you have good depth in your organization, because things like this will happen. And even with a young prospect like Jorge Mateo, even the young guys get hurt, man. So we're going to have to make some moves. We're going to have to either somebody's going to get moved up. Let's just see who we can put up here. So we're going to put him on the 60-day DL. And we're going to see, remember we talked about in the last video possibly having Brian Abraham as that guy. And you know what? I think I might do it. I think I might pull him up because there's nobody else really. I mean, if you think about it, we have Hernan Perez. Maybe we should look into free agency. Let's see who's in free agency. I had a rule my first season, I couldn't sign any free agents, but that's because the computer doesn't sign free agents. So let's just look at the shortstops here. So Eric Aybar, he's a pretty solid player. He's 34 years old. He has pretty good statistics there. Let's see what his last had. He had 217 his last season. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I want him. He might come back cold. Jose Reyes is a guy. Remember how good Jose Reyes was in his heyday with the Mets? He was pretty good. But now that I look at his stats, he never really hit. He had maybe like 1 or 2 seasons over 300. Oh, he had this season 337. That was probably his best season. But he never had like spectacular numbers. It was really his stolen bases. Look at this year. He had 78 stolen bases. He was swiping them left and right. So Jose Reyes, JJ Hardy, we had him last year. I didn't really like him too much. Let's look at second base. So Ian Kinsler is somebody that's interesting because the Brewers in real life have interest in trading for him for the Tigers. And he's in free agency, so he's pretty easy to get. Let's see what he's asking for. He's not gonna get 2 years. He's asking for 1 year, $3.7 million. Man, it's gonna be hard to pay somebody that much money. Let's look at the other guys. Jed Lowry is a pretty good player as well. He's older, but he's a good player. Who is this guy? Breivik Valera. He looks pretty decent. He doesn't have power, but he plays every position. Look at this. He plays every single position. He was on St. Louis last year, and I wonder why they didn't re-sign him. He looks like he came off the bench, and he hit 299. I mean, that's not bad off the bench. Maybe that's a guy that we could get. Kelby Tomlinson, he's actually pretty good too, but he hasn't really got his shine. Looks like he can play third base, shortstop, left field, so he can play multiple positions too. Let's see what he's asking for. So he's not asking for that much for 1 year. 1 year, $500,000. Maybe that's a guy we go after. What does this guy want? He wants 1 year, $500,000 as well. So that's probably gonna do it for this episode. I'm gonna decide who I want here. I don't know who it's gonna be. Carlos Sanchez is also an option. I don't know. We'll see. If I do sign somebody, we'll see who it's gonna be. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. We'll be back for the next episode.